Wedgies!
Man, does that bring me back. My friends, let me introduce you to, or odds are, reintroduce you to, Cartoon Network's Wedgie Shorts. These would be little bite-sized cartoons that were aired in between commercial breaks, giving you a little bit of entertainment to not only keep you watching Cartoon Network, but also to help prevent you from watching another ad for B-Movie.
You like jazz?
Unfortunately, because these cartoons were aired in between commercials, they didn't really get the attention they deserved. They just kind of showed up and then left. Even though they're all, for the most part, preserved and well documented, very few people seem to think about these, and even fewer seek them out to see if they hold up. Thanks to our lovely Masters of Fate, I got the chance to revisit these shows, if you can call them that. I guess series is a better term. Anyways, I got to revisit them, and now I'm gonna tell you all about my experience. Good old Nacho Bear. These cartoons have a very basic premise for sure, but they managed to get a lot out of very little. It's all about this giant bear called, well, Nacho Bear, and just like his name suggests, he loves nacho chips. And he will do everything in his power to get one, and wacky hijinks ensue. The best way I can describe Nacho Bear is a crazier version of Scrat from Ice Age. There's a lot of the same kind of gags, like Nacho Bear being this close to getting what he wants, but then it gets taken away from him. He ends every cartoon in misery, and the fact that, despite this character not having done anything wrong, the world seems to be out to get him, and to make sure that he never gets what he wants. But man, does he keep trying. The animation on this is really wild and expressive. And it kinda has to be. Nacho Bear and his friends don't talk. The closest thing we have to dialogue are growls or grunts or maybe an oof. Even so, the animation is expressive enough to give Nacho Bear his own personality. He's a big lumbering oaf, but he's not a bad guy. He's just out to get his favorite snack. And no matter what, he's not gonna give up. He won't rest until he gets one crumb of a nacho chip, which begs the question. If he never can get a hold of one of these, how does Nacho Bear know that he likes them? Is it because his parents named him Nacho Bear, so he just thinks that, oh yeah, I'm automatically gonna like nacho chips? You know, this actually kind of reminds me of when I was a kid. I always like to imagine this scenario where the Trix Rabbit finally gets a hold of a bowl of Trix, and then he tries it and hates it. I could kind of see that being the finale for Nacho Bear. Let's face it, he's got a hard enough life as is. Wouldn't that be a great final slap in the face? This whole time his quest was for something that he doesn't care for? Back on track, Nacho Bear is great. They're bite-sized pieces of fun and fluid animation at their best. I definitely recommend it.
For just pennies a day.
I'm going to come right out of the gate and say this, mostly because I don't really have much to say about Big Baby in general. I didn't get it. Like, I understand where they're coming from, I get the joke. It's a giant baby being inserted into all these pop culture phenomenons, like a crime show or Speed Racer. But that's really all the cartoons have. It's just a premise without the writing to back it up. They've got some decent attention to detail when it comes to parodying whatever they're going to be parodying this episode. But when it comes to the baby, the star, it's just your generic baby jokes. He chews on stuff, he drools, he thinks that things are toys. Ah ha 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 ha. If you want the full Wedgies experience and the bragging rights that go with being able to say that you've seen all of them, I guess you can watch Big Baby. It's inoffensive and harmless, but it's nothing spectacular or even good. And if you are interested in checking these cartoons out, then I'd say that Big Baby should be towards the bottom of your priority list. Instead, you should focus on watching... How did this not get picked up and become a real show? This is gold.
Doggone!
The Talented Mr Bixby is about Mr Bixby, who's a substitute worker at a local school, and whenever he's called in, he causes nothing short of a grand disaster, and it's great.
Yes, Mr. Wedgies! Yes, sir?
I can't believe how many jokes they pack into a 2 to 3 minute short. It's just rapid fire, one after another, and they all hit.
There you are, Bixby! What have you done?
And it doesn't hurt that the character of Mr. Bixby is really likable and charming. Yeah, Yeah, he's an oaf. Yeah, he causes a lot of damage. But you never once think that he's doing it because he's malicious. He's just nuts. And just how comfortable and calm he is with his lack of skill is honestly kind of refreshing. He's not some kind of moron who pretends or thinks that he's a genius but then turns out to be a fraud. Nope, he just is who he is and he's gonna do the best job that he can. When it comes to comedy, these are the Wedgies shorts that do it the best. Sorry, Nacho Bear, you're still really good, but you can't compare to the amazingness of the talented Mr. Bixby. Though I will say, a little bit of spoilers for the end, Bixby doesn't have the only segments that I'm surprised weren't turned into an actual series. There's one more, but before we get to those, let's talk about my favorite as a kid.
New Meow Mix Wet pouches.
Before I talk about Calling Cat 22 itself, I've gotta say that this one easily has the best theme song.
Who is the cat that you need to call when the chips are all down and your back's to the wall? Calling Cat 22.
To be fair, there's not a whole lot of competition. Even so, it's fun, it's stylish, and it takes up a huge chunk of the runtime. Yeah, maybe having a fully produced, albeit good, theme song in a 3-minute short wasn't the best idea, because as it stands, Calling Cat 22 is a lot like Big Baby, albeit a fair bit better. These shorts are mostly banking on their premise, which isn't that creative. It's all about Cat 22, a secret agent who doesn't really want to be a secret agent, but he can't quit because Cat 22 is repeatedly tasked to go undercover and spy on the dogs. There, he sees them do things like play fetch or rolling around in filth.
You find this enjoyable?
He reports back to his cat agency syndicate thing and letting them know the rationale behind this strange behavior. Every episode ends with Cat 22 getting injured in some way, and his co-workers making it very clear that he's gonna have to do this kind of thing all over again next time. Given how harsh these sketches are to its main character, I can so easily see early to mid-2000s cartoon reviewers getting a hold of these and going,
I can't believe it! They're just so mean-spirited! Cat 22 doesn't deserve any of this! Come on! I'm gonna track down the writers and kill them!
Luckily, they didn't. Not just because that kind of style of review is very outdated and very cringy, but Cat 22 isn't worth it. I'm sorry, young Trevor. These ones don't hold up as well as you'd think. Admittedly, they're more fleshed out than Big Baby was, and that's mostly because of the main character. Cat 22 is quite likable. Even if the situations he's in never really go in his favor, still, he does his job and he does it well. He gives off the vibe of the everyman office worker who's so done with his job but for whatever reason can never work up the guts to quit. As for the humor though, yeah, it's kinda lacking. Similar to how Big Baby went for a lot of easy baby jokes, these go for really easy dog jokes. Squeaky toys, fire hydrants, sniffing butts, you've heard it all before. And this doesn't really do anything beyond throwing a slight spy filter over it. Not bad by any means, but not really great either. I'd give them maybe a 5.5 out of 10. A thumb to the side but slightly tilted up. Maybe if the theme song wasn't so long, they would have been able to flesh out the writing a bit more. But alas, we may never know.
Guitar Hero World Tour, rated T for Teen.
And now for the final shorts, the Bremen Avenue Experience. We've got another one that I'm surprised Cartoon Network didn't turn into a full series, but for very different reasons than the Talented Mr. Bixby. These aren't funny at all, but they're not trying to be. They're character pieces. It's about 4 young anthropomorphic animals that are trying to start a band. Much like how I'm amazed that the Talented Mr. Bixby was able to throw in so many jokes in 2 to 3 minutes, I'm amazed how these were able to flesh out their characters so well in that same amount of time. Granted, they're not super three-dimensional or anything, but for what we get, this is pretty impressive. It succeeds with what it seeks out to do, and really, that's all I can ask for. Well, I could ask for longer episodes where we get more of these characters and we get to see, I don't know, some of their struggles, or some of their mindsets, or maybe some little misadventures they'd go on while trying to start up their band. While these shorts are really good and have an amazing art style, they always leave me wanting more, which is a great thing for a pilot, but for a standalone series of shorts, it's kinda complicated. These are definitely worth your time, but even so, they give you that itch, but they don't really scratch it all the way, if you get what I mean. But the Bremen Avenue experience made me think about something. Why did none of these, except for possibly Flapjack, become a full series? People liked them, or at least the people that paid attention to them, and Cartoon Network loved adapting cartoons from shorts. We had shows like the What a Cartoon Show, Sunday Pants, or the Never Completed Cartoonstitute. Were these not good enough to make it on those? I'm not really sure. But for what we got, I'd say they're mostly worth your time. The only one I'd say you could skip is Big Baby, but if you're a completionist like I am, they're not gonna hurt you if you watch them. Though I will say, you really should go out of your way to watch Bixby and Nacho Bear. Those are really something special. So thank you very much, Masters of Fate. I got to relive part of my childhood and realize that, for the most part, it holds up. It just goes to show you that in its golden age, Cartoon Network would put every little bit of effort into their network that they possibly could, even during the times when most people would think about turning the channel. If only other networks would do the same thing.
The following is an important announcement.
On second thought, maybe not. Well, folks, thanks for watching the video. What'd you guys think? Have you seen Wedgies anytime recently? If you have, then which ones were your favorites? If not, which ones are you most excited to see? Comment below and let me know, because I'm always excited to hear what you guys have to say. And now it's time to thank our wonderful Patreon people, starting with our Masters of Fate, Manny Paredes, Kev, Leaf Storm, Ryan Williams, Chan 11, and Woody Woo. And let's not forget our executive producers, Unkale, Blackjack, Edward Haas, H.R. Hoffman, who else but Zane, YouTube Milkwad, Albert Robinson, I Am Fove, Aaron Vasquez, Ravioli Supremo, Wes Franklin, and Indiscreet One. If you too would like your name read at the end of every Media Mementos video, then why not consider donating to the Patreon? There's a fancy little link in the description below for you to check out. Alright folks, thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you guys next time.
Fantastic rehearsal, everybody.
Ha ha.